Hey, I definitely hope the same for you. And if this is your first time stopping by my channel, much love to you and welcome. And to my returning subs, my growing extended beautiful family, just thank you so much. We're all going through different changes. We're opening ourselves up to knowing the now, I guess, if you want to call it that. Like learning and growing to understand yourself from a deeper perspective, deeper level. And it can be scary, but it can, turns out to be a blessing in many disguises. So with that being said, much love to all. Namaste, love and blessings, love and light, and many blessings are definitely coming your way. If you have been watching my videos for a while and have not already, please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell at the bottom so you know when I'm about to upload my next video. Also, if you're comfortable enough, please drop me a line or two. I would love the chance to get to know you as much as you're getting to know me. Even if it's about the positive feedback of the content of my video, or you're just up, tell me about your empathic gift, how it impacts your life, and heading you towards a positive direction. And if you feel like the videos are informative, give you good vibes or inspiration that you would love to share with a loved one, family, or friend, or even a fellow empath that are going through trying times at the moment and just needing, spiritual guidance or just needing confirmation or validation towards life path or even soul purposes, please go ahead and share. And while you're at it, give me a thumbs up, like, and also share on your social media favorites wherever you see fit. Thank you once again for the love and support. Y'all are truly awesome. And I hope you're able to resonate with the content of my video. The channel I'm using for my meditation uh, in the background is called Green Red Productions Relaxing Music, hang drum music for focus with binaural beats, focus music, hand pan, steady music. And I will post that link in the description box below. And the video I'm doing today is Twin Flame 101. Um, Mask, uh, Twin Flame 101, Heyokas, mask coming off, seeing all true intentions. No one can hide behind what was once hidden. Average people do not like empaths because we can, even when we're still trying to um, learn more about our gifts. There's some people that are actually lucky and blessed that if you had parents that passed this down to you, and they were open to allowing you to learn about your gifts, being able to understand it, being able to know how certain things work, that'll be a blessing. So you already know what you're dealing with. But, a lot of us, we were, passed down from it. It's like probably skipped a generation and, went off with that. And it came from like the great grandmothers or whatever. But it's like everything that's going on right now, this has been, it's always been something, uncovered where, like I said in the other videos, there was people, I'm getting caught up. Like uh, I forgot what that other guy's name is. Dog it, I forgot. He was one of them celebrities, and then I guess he had something to do with a whole bunch of, I don't know if it was sex trafficking or whatever. And then they found him. I guess he committed suicide in the uh, in the jailhouse, waiting for his trial to start or whatever. um, different things coming up, R. Kelly, we ain't gonna get into that one. Different things is like with people that, you're starting to see their true intentions. You start seeing how people were paying certain things off to be able to get ahead. You know, um, the workforce is just coming up crazy. People that you have probably known for a long time, or it's just like people are starting to come out and you're already starting to see what their true intentions are. And a lot of times, when we have connected with people and it just seems like you've been blind for a while. Like, how come I didn't see this coming? And it's just like you have to understand when we're empaths, we always try to find a good in people. I seen a post the other day and it was kind of like a bittersweet and it was kind of sad. You see an empath angel hugging a demon. And it's like, and it's sad, it's like it's beautiful and it's sad at the same time that we, even through those different things, even through evil, we're always trying to search just to know that it was like, hey, even through that dark gooey stuff, I know you got a heart down there, and it's sad, but it's all life lessons where, you know, you start understanding things. When you have went through I always, for me, in my opinion, I always feel like anybody who's going through, just now going through a spiritual awakening, it had to bring a shock value, like something very traumatic had to happen in your life. There's people I met that their significant other passed away, or they were going through a very bitter divorce. um, they were just lost a job, or they were homeless, or there was a sick child, or they were sick. It's something very traumatic that had to wake you up to let you know there's something about you that has not yet been revealed, or is has, and and you're starting to learn more about that. It's like, with me being young, I had my gifts my whole life. There were certain things that I would do, certain things that I would say, when I was younger, when I was like 4 or 5, or even when I was way younger than that. It was like when, my dad started getting, out there, and, he was, people starting to know about him. It was like when he was starting to perform. I didn't know who it was, but it was just, obviously as a child, I knew. Even though I was adopted, I knew, because my mom was like, you know what, there's something very special about her, because there's, no matter what you do, she's going to know. She knows who her family is. And me being able to, remember my past lives, like, hey, I used to tell my mom at like 4 or 5 years old, I was a twin. And she was like, you do not have a twin. I said, no, not this life, Mom, the life before that. Now I'm a 4 or 5 year old and telling her about these things. And I told her I was a twin. My brother, I saved my brother. I died and I came back. And then it was just, constantly see my dad in my dreams. So it's like, okay, is he my dad or is he my brother? And she's like, did somebody tell you something? And I was like, no, I'm daddy. And I used to always call him my dream daddy. And she was just like, this is just wild. Then, my mom, and she was an empath, and she knew. She was like, that girl is very powerful. She knows how to mimic people. I'll always be that person that makes people laugh, and I used to be her little entertainment back when I was, growing up. And it's just so many different things that I used to do at that age that was like, I couldn't really talk about. My mom would allow me to talk about those things, be open with her when her ex-husband wasn't around, because he was like, they're gonna be thinking she's crazy. You can't be doing stuff like that because they're gonna lock you up. And he knew, he didn't like it when I knew the truth. It was, no matter how much you disguised it, it would be that communication I got, from my dreams. With my dad, he was always telling me something. you know I always kept on saying, the family you're with is not your family. I'm gonna take you to your real family. And I was just like, okay, what do you mean this is not my family? And it wasn't really understanding the concept. But when I went through that with them, that tripped them out. It was like, oh no, we keeping her from him, but now he's coming to her damn dreams. Oh no, we gonna have to go to a therapist with this because she gonna learn too much. So all those different things, they can no longer hide behind that. Being able to see that truth, it really traumatized me. And it was like after my dad's passing, I kept on hearing and seeing him. And I'm like, Daddy, I want to know the truth. I want to, really understand this. And he was just like, you don't remember? And I'm like, I don't remember. I knew there was something I was forgetting. It was a big part of my life I did not remember, because I was just like, I did, a lot of pills, a lot of weed, and I had a lot of head injuries, so I didn't know if it was probably because of that. But then I was remembering, my mom always used to say, every time I come back from visiting with my mom's ex-husband and his wife, I will always come back different. Even my best friend would say that. It was like, Roslynn, we'll have a discussion and you wouldn't know what I'm talking about when I brought it back up. And, went up under that, what was that sleep therapy, because I was having really bad night terrors, and trying to understand, what was going on, not being able to sleep. So those things, after me uncovering everything, put me in a rage. It really put me in a rage. And then it was just like when it started uncovering, and then a lot of that, I guess it's like when I went to, my sleep hypnosis and stuff for my therapy. I guess after my dad died, all that stuff came back, because it was just like, that was crazy. It was very crazy for me. So being able to do that, I had went to go see the movie Get Out. Anybody ever seen that movie Get Out? It's like thing about coffee cups. I'm like, hey, don't bring that coffee cup around me. I'll do coffee cups. It's like that coffee cup, and that's can't do it. So it's just like, going there, and it's just like when I'm seeing stuff now, and it's like when you look in your life and you start seeing things unfolding to you. And you get a deeper understanding why things would happen. And it just I forgot what movie I was thinking about, but you will always hear somebody like screaming and hollering and stuff like that. And like if you're little, but you kept on having these reoccurring dreams about it, and it's just like, if you see things as a child, you may not understand until you grow up and you understand after you be an adult. And that's what it felt like to me. And it's just like all these things, nobody can't hide from these things anymore. When we connect with people that are not empaths, and then we start mimicking the things that they do that they need to recognize, or they may be coming into our lives that we could be doing some unsubconsciously, and then we're doing that because a lot of times we do things and we know what we're doing, but there's a lot of times we do things and we're unaware of what we're doing because we so been so used to doing that. So when you start mirroring things with people, a lot of people are like, oh, she thinks she all that, she thinks she conceited, arrogant, whatever. No, it's not that. Or if I start telling them about themselves, they didn't like that. And it's just like with me, I know there was a lot of changes I had to go through. You have to accept responsibility for the things you have. You don't want to sit up here and make yourself feel like a victim towards anything that you have gone through, even though you may have been victimized. You have that power to change this. You can have your power to separate from that. But a lot of times it just depends on the length and the extent you have went through with something when it comes from emotional, mental trauma. I don't know if it's something that you went through as babies to toddlers to adolescents to whatever, or even things will start coming back from your past lives. I've had different situations where I start coming up, and it's just like with situations with my dad, and there's just like people that he is connected with that has passed on. I see them, I feel certain things. I see certain snippets of things that I really don't like seeing. So different stuff like that. Has been very, it felt very surreal to me because a lot of times I've gone through things. I'm like, man, did that really happen? And and it just seems like the more I'm open to learn about the gifts that I carry, and it just seems like the more you have been open, or there could be something that was like a traumatic trigger for you and it really set you there. I don't know why it has to take that trauma for a lot of the gifts that's been laying dormant for umpteen years or millenniums or whatever. It takes you to have to go through extreme situations, then all of a sudden it'll open up a box towards something that you didn't even know, like, wait a minute, this happened. And I started noticing different things in my life that I know I had snippets of in my life, but I never knew where that piece of that puzzle really sat in until I met certain people that can you know um identify, or I can relate to on certain situations, because it was just like, I knew I used to be a twin. um I remember certain things that I know there's no way I should remember. But then it started making sense. I was helping somebody else that, had, surviving twin syndrome, and it's just like with my dad, people always like, he always has this thing for twins, but nobody really knew that my dad was actually a twin. My grandmother didn't, she had a high risk pregnancy when she was pregnant with my dad. And it was like, people are like, how do you know these things? Well, if you're an empath, then, you got, you know a lot of things. And there are some people that remember their past lives, and it was just weird. I used to always say that, certain things I should not know. I know people that are connected with him, and they were like, how did you know that? I'm like, because I was the twin, because I can even see like pictures with me and my grandfather, and it's just like there will be certain gestures that I have, and it's just like, do a picture like next to each other, like side by side, and I'm just like, this so creepy. But it was just me being able to uncover those many masks of layer of trauma, um, dumbing down things, if you really want to call it that, the things that were yet unseen. But it was just like things started coming off to me. It was like so traumatic that they couldn't give it to me all at one time, because it's like if you were in their spirit suit, whatever you want to call it, you would have been able to deal with all these things at once. But they know, well, I don't know if it's with everybody, but it just depends on what you had to deal with. That either you could have been so traumatized, a lot of times with us growing up, if there's things that are too painful or really traumatizes you, we put those in, we suppress them to the point where, we really had to forget about those things. We didn't want to think about those things. Those things gave us nightmares. Those things, really freaked you out. All these different things came to play into your life. And it's just like going through these different changes is like the world. They're showing you how people can be hateful. They show you how people can be very nasty. There's people out there that you didn't even think they actually exist. Like they got some folks like that out here, you're dealing with. We hear about madness in the world all the time, but it's just like first it came with the pandemic. Everything is just spreading around the world. But this is, even though it's a sad thing because it was people, many people that we lost at that time. And a lot of things from the visions that I get, a lot of these people that have passed on already had it's like a soul contract. They knew it. Some people were blessed and actually been able to pass on at a very, golden year, probably in the 70s or 80s and stuff like that, even though, it doesn't matter, you'll still miss that person. And there are some people that passed away, at a very young age. But they were all, some sort of level of the 1044. There are some people, just like George Floyd. Um, Gianna, Kobe, and all them, they were like 1044. And there's so many other ones that were like that as well. Things are starting to get outed behind certain, organizations. I don't want to say religions because I'm not trying to disrespect anybody, even though I said religions, but, certain things. I'm doing my videos. So, going through all those different things. It's like a lot of layers are coming off on how things has been hidden for so long. It is eventually is just, only has to go, only way it is to come up. And that's not, a lot of things people don't want to come out because, people got all type of skeletons in their closet. Even with my situation, I was always told, hey, because I was a very troubled child. I seen in and out of juvie, put in psych wards and stuff like that when I was younger because of the things that, I used to see. And I didn't like that. It's just like I would see people for their truest faces. I remember there's times that I was going through puberty and I used to see people's face morph and, all those different things. And from experiencing all these things, I would be like, okay, am I losing my mind? Am I doing this? Am I doing that? But it's like all these changes had to take place within me, all these things that I had to see. So it is just like you have to go through these many layers that, you weren't really understanding what was taking place. And it's like it can be something hard to digest, different things. You're learning more about yourself, knowing more about the world, all these different changes are taking place where you're really truly understanding. And it's like we had to go through these things. We had, and it's just weird. It's like a reset, you know, um, Mother Earth going through all these labor pains that she's about to birth out something that is truly needed upon this earth. But it's scary the way they're resetting it. It's like the end of the world type situation where they're birthing out something totally new. But it's just like for this to happen, everything has to come to the surface about how people do things, how you need to be locked down, where there's certain people that are really been, trying to avoid the truth within themselves, came up with all excuses, the reason why they don't want to focus on what they need to focus on so they can heal and move on. All those different things taking place. I don't forgot what I was talking about earlier. They were out here, and it got me distracted. So I went back to a different subject. I'm like, oh, dog, I don't know what I was talking about. But, we're all going through these different things where you're seeing the true intent of people, and it's like at times it's not pretty. It can be downright scary because you're seeing things from a whole new different eye. It's like that veil of your third eye is finally uncovered, and it's just like it allowed me to really see things for what it was, because it was like with me, there'll be certain things I can say with my mom not around, but my dad, I can be able to, not my dad, but my mom's ex-husband. I can, talk to him about certain things, but there are certain things when it came to the mystical realm, I only can talk to my mom about. I can talk freely about her because she knew that I had a gift as a child. I knew there were certain places I wouldn't go when we were living in Germany. There was, love going to the castle, like, I'm going there. There's a whole bunch of murderers there. Nope. And, you used to go, I was like, well, how is she knowing these things? This is like very morbid. But there would be the things that I would see, and I would, there'll be people that I know that was grieving at that time, 4 years old, and, running up to somebody and saying, hey, you need a hug, or it'll be one of their loved ones is right next to them, and as a child, children can be able to see a lot of things that adults can't. So, being able to assist people even from that age, you know, um, it was a very beautiful thing, you know. And it's a trippy situation where I used to always have really bad night terrors, and I would constantly see, it was always the same. I had it like every night, and that was like the terrifying thing, me being with my dad, playing, just like his father and daughter would, and there will always be somebody always in these cloaks. It was, they would always have these, robes on, like the monks would, but their head was covered, and they will always just be pulling me away from my dad, and he's screaming, "I love you," and I'm coming to get you, and I'm like, "Daddy, come get me. They're trying to take me, you know, um, don't you love me?" And he's just in quicksand, and I would always have those, those nightmares, and did not realize at 4 or 5 years old was predicting what I was going to go through today, and it was just like, wow, because it is, it's a sad thing, but it was something that, basically the universe was preparing me for what I was going through. I always had this dream. It wasn't a nightmare. I always would see this lady at 5 years old, and she was like, "Can I give you a hug in my dream?" I'm like, "Okay," and you're like, "I'm sorry," and I didn't know what was going on, but it was crazy. I went through a cutting meditation a few days ago with when it was like one of Steve Noble's uh what was it, meditation. It tell you to go back to your inner child. And when I did that, you're talking about that opened up so many different things. And then it took me right back to when I seen that little girl, and I gave her a hug, and, we were both crying, and I told her I was so sorry. And I just didn't know what was going on. But now it makes so much sense now. So it's just like we're all going through these stages of peeling layers off. It's not always just average people, but it's, between us empaths or warriors, because we have masked out our burdens, whatever traumatic intentions were placed on you. You being able to be free with not anybody judging you about who you are. I mean, it's sad because it's like with my family, we have bloodline of Wiccans and stuff like that. And I don't practice anything bad, but there's a lot of times, with my medium gift, people used to tell me I was a devil worshiper, and that's devil's work. And I'm like, no, it's not. If you're bringing peace to somebody's life, and you're able to lift that burden of sadness to them, just to be able to know that, their family is always with them, I feel like that's more of a blessing than a curse. The only thing that's a curse to me when I'm able to see like 5 minutes prior to what happened, or then I've seen how, they passed or whatever, that those are the things that are traumatic to me. I wish I wouldn't have. But, being able to help people, I've helped a lot of people with those things. It's like the more people I've helped, recently, I mean, it was very beautiful. At times it gets very sentimental and, emotional, but it was always bringing a blessing to somebody's life, being able to tell you you're not alone. Even though we go through these things in our lives where it really feels like it's us against the world, but it's like your ancestors, your spirit guides, the archangels, anybody, they have always been there with you, assisting you. You had to be able to go through these things. You had to endure so much pain. You had to go through so much heartache. You had to go through extreme trauma just for you to be able to shed that skin, shed those faucets of something that wasn't even serving you anymore. You had to be able to go through this, and this is how we're doing it. It's scary that it has to happen this way with all the madness going on in the world, but this is what had to happen. We're going through a full blown transformation. It's just, going through it where, yes, there's some violence. There's people that's passing away left and right from this epidemic, pandemic, whatever you want to call it. And then, with the things where we keep hearing about these people, um, these black men or black women, is all, passing away. It's just like I've been shying away from social media. I get tired of seeing those things. It's sad, to see them. It's just like already, with this going on, it's just so many empaths I've been connecting with where they feel like they don't want to be here anymore. The world is just so cruel. The energy is just very heavy. You're trying to be able to transmute that, or, even just shed it away from you. But these are the things that, we had to endure. These are the things that is going to help us overcome. It's going to make us so much stronger, because it's like, in a way, it's kind of like making some new hybrids, of, empath warriors. And it's just, it's crazy. But I guess it's just like you can see it, and it's like tragic. But then it's just like it's peeling off the layers that's no longer needed. We have been through years of hatred. We have been through years and years of segregation, diversity, hate, greed, all these different things that's going on in the world that needs to stop. And I guess this is how it has to be done. You can't question the universe and God about how things are. Why is it like this? Why is it like that? It's on a need to know basis. When they feel like you need to know, they're going to let you know. So, but I hope you were able to resonate with the content of this video. This is going to be my last one, y'all. I've been connected with the universe, and now I'm just like, I'm almost tapped out. So, this is my last one. So, I'm going to give a post notification shout out to Riza Yoko, um, Lauren, Brandon, and Aubrey Compton. Much love to you as well. And Ali Barakat. Much love to you as well. If you're new to the channel, welcome. It's so good to have you. Tell somebody about the channel. Subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you know when I'm about to upload my next video. Give me a thumbs up. Drop a line. I would love to give you a post notification shout out. I don't know if I just said that or not because I'm getting kind of tired. But hey, I would love to give you, love to get to know you. If you want to get in touch with me privately, to give you a deeper understanding of your soul purpose, or just trying to understand it. I know it can be hard at times, so I'm glad that universe assigned me to do this, because I know what it felt like when I first started and didn't have anybody to talk to. So I love being able to do that. You can get in touch with me privately on Messenger, Facebook Messenger. Just look me up under my name. Let me know you connect with me here, and you're just wanting just to be able to understand what's taking place, in case you're still probably lost in transition. It's not saying that you're slow or anything like that. There's a lot of things that we're going through, and it may seem kind of confusing because you may not know. You know, um, may not be aware of everything that's taking place, or you're just trying to find your way as well as your place. So but I'll try to help you out as best as I can. Whatever you speak on is confidential, and whatever I can, if I can't explain it to you, I'll give you the materials that you need to take you along the way and give you a deeper understanding about self and your purpose. So tell somebody about the channel. Know that you are truly blessed, highly favored, and forever loved. And knowing there's always somebody out there praying for your better days. And I pray that everything you're trying to manifest into your life, um, you manifest. Oh, Lord Jesus, I know I'm tired. Manifest 100,000 times more than what you asked for, even prayed for, or expected, and comes so much sooner as well. It's the same. Make sure even through social distancing, you give out love, light, positivities, prosperity, words, vibes, frequencies. You never know. Somebody can always take those the long way or far away, whatever. But I'll see y'all later. Much love to you. Peace. Be well.